So this is like the third time that I try to speak to the camera because I am out of practice. It's been so long since I've done this and now I just don't know what to say. I'm looking at myself and I'm like, what am I even doing? But I'm gonna do it anyway. So today has been all about cleaning the house with this hot weather, taking care of my plants, watering them, nurturing them, planting new things in my balcony garden. It has been all about focusing on doing things that bring me just this slow, quiet moments that I am desperately needing right now because there are a lot of stressful things in life right now, in the world and in my own life. And so I have been thinking about this a lot. I'm sorry about my voice, but my allergies today are going crazy. But I have been thinking about this a lot, and if I don't romanticize or nurture these small moments in my life, who's gonna do it? No one. So even if no one's gonna watch these videos and I don't see the point in doing them, and I fall into this hole, into this loop that it's like, why am I even doing this? Why am I wasting my time? No one cares. But I came into the conclusion that I care and I like to do them, not because people are gonna watch, but because I like the process of filming, I like the process of sharing and improving. So I'm gonna do this for myself, and that has been what I have been trying to focus on in the last few weeks, just doing things for myself, because who's gonna do it? You know, you have to do it for yourself, and you have to romanticize these moments of your life, because what's the point if you don't? You know what I mean? That's how I have been seeing things right now. So yeah. I also got, let me show you. First, we got this really awesome vase and this really awesome plant that I put in this little corner here. I now have the blinds covering the living room, otherwise my neighbors would just see me talking to the camera and think I'm crazy, even more crazy than what they think I am right now because of how many plants I bring to the apartment, but that's a whole other story. But I have noticed after a year of living here that this side of the house, which has the living room and the kitchen, is much more dry and less humid than the other side, because the other side has the stream, like the little river. It's not called river, and so it's a lot more humid than in here. And so in the beginning, I tried to put plants here that really enjoyed humidity, like high humidity places, and they would eventually die or dry up because they weren't meant to be in this environment. I don't know if I have any plant in here that likes humidity and is thriving, but all the plants that I have here so far, after I've noticed the different type of weather situation that we have here in the living room, they have been doing okay. I recently planted a lavender in the living room because I tried to grow it outside in my balcony garden and it just died because I think she was having full sun for too long and it was drying her up. So I thought maybe I should put her in the living room because she only gets sun here, direct sunlight, around 6 to 7 or maybe like 5 to 7. And I think she's been thriving a lot. And I like how I can see her moving around towards the sunlight, which is kind of funny. I just switched her up because she was kind of inclining a little bit, but yeah. So that's been an interesting journey, trying to figure out where my plants are the happiest in my home. The balcony garden has been a challenge because last year when we moved in, I tried to grow coriander, cilantro, rosemary, chocolate mint, and a few other things. And I also planted some carrots, and that was a success. We pulled them out of the ground, of the soil, and it was just amazing to see the carrots and then eat them. It was a whole awesome process, and yeah, it was cool. But the cilantro and the coriander did not do so well. I think it was maybe because of the spots I put them. I think they just had too much sun and they would dry so quickly. And since I'm not home because I'm working, I think I couldn't really control like if they were thirsty or not, and I think they just dried up too quickly. So this year I have tried to make it like try a mix. I've planted a lot of flowers. I've planted sunflowers, only one survived and is thriving, and I've planted like 5. None of them sprouted. And again, I think maybe it's because I left them outside instead of inside while there were seeds, so only one was like tough enough to grow in those conditions. But it's okay, I'm just gonna have one this year. Maybe next year I'll try again and grow them inside first, obviously. I've grown a cherry tomato plant that is growing. She's still a little baby, but she's growing. I've planted lavender outside next to my flowers because I'm doing an experiment to see if she's gonna, in that spot, if she's gonna do okay. I've planted calendula. I have mint. I have, how do you say in English, basil, spinach, coriander, which is doing really good with the new spot that I found for her. And let me take a peek. Oh yeah, and just a bunch of flowers basically that I planted, and I don't know what they are because I didn't put the names in. Oh, and strawberries. I recently planted strawberries to see if I can grow them in my balcony garden. I really hope so. So yeah, it's been a crazy adventure, challenging at times to, I don't know, balance things out, but just being able to grow stuff in my balcony garden and be surrounded by plants is just really therapeutical. Yeah, therapeutical. And it just brings so much joy into my life. It's crazy. I've had this intro for so long, but speaking of doing things for myself and finding inspiration and motivation, I did find a will to paint, which I had not felt in a very, very long time. I feel like I have these weird shifts in mood that are hard for me to control, because in one moment I want to paint and paint and paint and explore my style and develop it, and then in the other I think everything I do is complete and utter shit and I don't want to touch a paintbrush again. And it's hard for me to find a balance where it's okay to feel unsatisfied but keep doing it and not fall into this hole of I'm not going to do it, because if I don't do it I won't get better. And so it's been hard to get that right. But anyway, I'm going to show you what I have been painting recently. They are all available if you are interested in a print. So yeah, let me get them. They are not in any specific order, I just put them all together and I'm going to show you. So these two duckies and the little duckies. Yeah, now you can see them. So yeah, I made this A5 gouache painting and I'm actually quite proud of it. I really like how I worked the water. I think this duck looks funny for some reason. But yeah, the only thing I don't really like, and I'm feeling a little bit self-conscious, is the little duckies, but this one made me kind of happy. So then came a series of landscape paintings because I was trying to find my favorite way of painting trees and painting large landscapes. And so this was the one that I liked the most. I'm just so proud of it. I really like how you can see, you know, the inclination of the trees. I like the colors that I used. I like that it's kind of abstract, but at the same time you can tell what it is. I like the size that I decided to do, and yeah, this one made me happy. This one, yeah. This one I would put in a frame and have it in my house, for example, because I think it's cute. This one is another one that I did of mountains with trees and the sky. I quite like it as well. It kind of works as a series, I guess, because this one and the other are kind of similar in colors and theme. But yeah, I was obsessed. This one is my least favorite. I don't like it. It's not even, I don't consider it finished, but I think it's kind of a failed experiment. Not my favorite, but I'm showing it anyway to you. They're all the same A5 size. Then this is actually the first one, so I'm doing this in the wrong order, but this was the one that started my obsession with landscapes. I really like this one. I like the sky. I like the little lake and the plants. In here I was kind of doing it more. I'm trying to explain what I was doing with my brush, and I was basically just doing more like a dot style. And in the other ones I kind of spread a little bit more the brush, if I'm explaining it correctly. I quite like this one, but the others gave me a little bit more joy. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's cute. It's cute. This one is kind of old, but I did it with the same goal as the other ones, to kind of find, it's completely different from the others and it has a more fantasy vibe to me. But I really like it. I like the trees. I like how I managed to let this stay very light in contrast with the rest of the painting. But I like the fantasy vibe that it gives. I don't mind that the edges were not all the way painted. It doesn't really bother me. But yeah. And it's funny because this is one of those paintings that when I finished, I thought it was complete utter shit. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think many people, when they finish their paintings, they think, this is shit. And then a few months later, they walk past the painting and they're like, damn, that's pretty good. And I don't know, I think this is something that happens, truly. So this one I tried to do a bigger style, and it was inspired by, oh god, I can't remember the name, I'll just put it somewhere. But yeah, it's an A3 painting. And when I look at it in the camera, it looks much better than live. I just want to keep on looking it through the camera. I don't want to look at it straight away. But yeah, not 100% happy with it, but I think it was a good study. It was a good experiment. I like the bridge detail. I like the different colors. I like the flowers here. I think it's cute. There's like a pattern of colors. I tend to go for these several shades of green, kind of yellowy green, and you can see that in my paintings. I think that's cool. I like that I've found a pattern of colors when I'm painting landscapes, a pattern of colors that I like. So yeah, those were the paintings that I wanted to show you. I am also doing something that I thought about doing for so long, but I haven't ever tried it. It's something very simple, but it involves... I'm trying to create a zine, basically, and it's going to be a very simple one. It's just going to be herbs. It's around herbs. It's going to be herb illustration with a text on one side, the illustration on the other. But it's just something that I've been really interested on, learning about herbs, their properties, what they're good for, their significance, and I've always thought it would be cute to have this small book where I could see what the plant looks like and their properties, magical properties because that's fun, and medicinal properties, and just a small little text, very synthesized, about the importance of that specific plant. So I'm working on that. I hope that the next time I speak to you, I don't want to show anything now because it's still in the very early stages and I haven't quite decided the style of it. I've done a few trials, but I want to try it again. But yeah, maybe next time I'll have something more to show you.